Thank you for attending this session. I first talk a little bit about operations management and operations strategy. Then I will go through the data that I have worked with regarding graduation rate and dropout rate. Using those data, I then estimate time to graduation, average time to graduation. Then a little bit talk about the data sets that I have for future use and the analytical and optimization tools that we may implement. Operations management is the body of knowledge to structure and operate discrete flow systems. Discrete flow systems like flow of engines in a manufacturing plant, flow of cars in an assembly plant, flow of cash in fidelity investment, flow of patients in UCL hospital, and flow of students in their undergraduate studies in David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, where first-time freshmen and first-time transfer come into the system as our input using human assets and capital resources. They pass through a set of learning processes and administrative processes under an information infrastructure and a value system, a student-centered value system, and they become our output. If I want to summarize operations management in one sentence, it is the body of knowledge to create smooth flow. If I want to add to it, it is a body of knowledge to understand trade-off, to remove variability, to align process competencies and product attributes, and the last but not the least, to optimally locate time buffer, product buffer, and capacity buffer around the network of learning processes and administrative processes. Even this perspective of operations management, if I want to superimpose operations strategy on it, we need to invest in human assets, we need to invest in capital resources, we need to develop learning processes in order to configure capabilities. Theoretically speaking, in operations strategy, we use this formula: value is equal to capabilities multiplied by assets plus processes, or resources plus processes. Theoretically speaking, that wants to emphasize that learning processes and assets have additive impact, but capabilities have multiplicative impact. And those capabilities, we cannot get that capabilities if we don't have our product without contribution of this triangle, which in one edge we have product, in another edge we have customers. They are both our students, but between these two edges, we assume that our students are closer to product than closer to customers. But our students play also a third role, and they are a part of a process, part of our system. So the role of the students on these three dimensions is quite complicated, and without their contribution, without active contribution of this triangle, we cannot compete on the square of time, quality, variety, and cost. Time, cost, quality, and variety. Time, cost, quality, cost, time, and variety. Having said that, now I want to a little bit go through the data that I have for graduation and for dropouts. This data comes from enrollment files when I have headcounts, incoming students, and graduates. Usually when we get some data, the way that we evaluate it is we want to use that data to estimate something else which is not over there. Here dropout is not over there. I estimate it using data, then I see if it fits with what I have in mind or not. So we use end of period inventory equation, which says head count of this period minus graduates of this period minus dropout of this period plus incomings of next period is equal to head count of next period. 5 elements, and then 4 of them are known, and I compute the 5th one, which is dropout. And then I look at this data, I see that the average of dropout of first-time freshmen makes sense to me. It's around 33%, close to reality. Average of all students, dropout of all students doesn't make that much sense because it comes out 16%, and it seems we have more than 16% dropouts. And then average dropout of transfers come out 4%, which is not close to reality. So I leave this set of data and we go to CSUN count and look at the data of each department. We have 7 departments plus 1 combined or something. This is incoming data. These are averages of each year, those 8 years, coefficient of variations, and percentages compared to the whole population of the college in terms of incomes. And here is head counts, again averages over 8 years, coefficient of variations and percentages in the whole college. And these are graduates of all departments. Then again, if I implement that end of period inventory calculation, I can estimate dropouts in this table. If I average them and average over the average, it seems that the dropout rate is 16%, and that 16% does not make that much sense. Then we will go to retention files. Inside the retention file, each year we have age profile of that year. For example, here in year 2001, these students are those who have been in the college for 1 year. These are the students who have been in the college for 2 years. Now, if I go to the next year and look at those people who have been in the college for 2 years, those are exactly those people who were in the college in 2001 for 1 year. And then if I go to the next year and look at those who have been in college for 3 years, those are those who were here in the college in 2001 for 1 year. Therefore, I can move on this diagonal and I can see the retention profile as I can show it here. For example, this is for 2001, this is for 2002, 3 and 4, and how the population has changed from 1 year to the next. This is 2001 profile, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. Very close to each other's. 2006, 7, and 8, much lower. Then they start getting better, and as we can see, as we get closer to the recent years, the percentage of dropouts goes down. Then I have created a total profile for all of these years and all entering students, and it shows, I have shown here the maximum dropouts, the minimum dropouts, the average dropouts, and 95% confidence interval. Obviously, in the first 4 years, because this is first-time freshman, we want the graph to be as flat as possible, and then after 4 years we want it to drop as quickly as possible. So we want to push these things here, and we want to push these things over there. Now I have some reliable data retention files, and I can show some graphs. These are headcounts, incoming graduates, and dropouts based on the best set of data that I have for the past 16 years. These are incomings, graduates, and dropouts, and the solid lines are actual numbers, and the dotted lines are 6-period moving average. I have used 6-period moving average because we expect the students to get graduated in 6 years. But because 6 years moving average does not exist for 6 years, instead of having, in order to have data for all of these years, I have used equivalent exponential smoothing when, if I set the parameter of exponential smoothing to 0.29, the average age of data in exponential smoothing becomes more or less close to average age of data in 6-period moving average. Here the green graph is for transfer students. The blue graph is for first-time freshmen. It shows the ratio of graduates to incoming students for those years. Solid curves are actual data. Dotted curves are 6-period moving average or equivalent exponential smoothing, and dashed lines are simple linear regression. As we can see, the rate for first-time transfers is more or less stable, a little bit upward, but the rate for freshmen, as we saw in the other graphs, is going up. Here we have similar data, but in terms of the ratio of dropouts to incomings. Again, we see that this ratio for transfer students is more or less stable with a little bit downward trend, and for freshman student has a steeper downward slope. Going back to our perspective of operations management, when we superimpose our perspective of operations strategy, it is now time that I can implement the second most important formula in this college. What is the first most important formula in this college? I think the most important formula that we have, fundamental formula that we have in this college, is assets is equal to liabilities plus stockholders' equity. The formula that I have says flow time times throughput is equal to inventory. And if I am going to apply it to our students, throughput is the summation of first-come freshmen and first-come transfers, which I assume it is close to the summation of graduates and dropouts. That is my throughput, which is 1,972 per year, averaged over the past 16 years. Average headcount, average inventory, in our inventory is our headcount, which is 6,186. And if I plug it into the formula, flow time times throughput is equal to inventory, I will get 3.42, which is very good, indicates that our students are here at CSUN for 3.24 years. But the reality is this: none of these people are first-time freshmen. About 35% are first-time freshmen, and about 65% are first-time transfers. If we implement these percentages, then flow time of freshman students end up with 4.81. But the reality is even a little bit more complex than that. We have a system like this. We have our 35% freshmen who come over there. 55% of them go out as graduates. We have 65% first-time transfer. Out of them, 75% go out as graduates. We have, out of this 35%, 36% are dropouts. Out of this 65%, 75% are graduates. If I want to apply those percentages, then the picture is like this. If I incorporate these percentages into my equation, I will end up with first-time freshman life cycle at CSUN, at David Nazarian College of Business and Economics is 6.46. Because I have made this based on specific assumptions, you may come and tell me, I don't agree with you. What you have assumed 2 is 1.7. What you assume 2 here is 2.5. Therefore, I say, okay, this is my sensitivity analysis table, and that would be my estimate for average time to graduation using this sensitivity analysis table. Now, having said that, if you go to the past and find out what will happen in the future, this black line shows our performance in the past 16 years, the number of graduates that we have had. Let me translate this into percentages. Therefore, right now, that black line is our current performance in all those years. And if we want to improve that performance, for example, in 2016, I don't have data for up to 2018. We are trying to get it. Here, if I'm already a little bit more better than 7 years, but if I'm going to go to 6 years, perhaps I should increase my number of graduates by about 10%. If I'm going to 5 years, perhaps I need to increase it by 35%. And if I'm going to go for 4 years, perhaps I need to increase my graduation rate by about 70%. These are exponential smoothing of the same thing. So we had to look at basic principles of operations management and operations strategy. We had a look at graduation rate and dropout rates. We had a look at our estimate for improving the situation. Now I'm going to explain what tools and techniques we are going to use in future. Most probably you all have seen this picture, but this one which I'm showing is a little bit different. I have used a conversation that they have had, Deming and Lakoff, and using the spirit of that conversation, which is called a theory of systems for educators, I have tried to a little bit improve this graph. Based on what we have here, descriptive analytics is what has happened, and that is transformation of data into information. Prescriptive analytics is why it happened, and that is transformation of information into knowledge. Predictive analytics is what is likely to happen, and that is transformation of knowledge into understanding. And prescriptive analytics is what should I do about it And that is indeed transformation of understanding into wisdom. In this direction, we use several software. Because I'm going to take simple concepts of this project into classroom, still for me, the starting point is Excel. I think more than any other software, our students need Excel. And as long as they have not reached to a specific level of proficiency in Excel, frankly, I don't know what benefits from other software they may get. Then we may use a Tableau for visualization. We will use an analytical test bed for descriptive analytics and predictive analytics called Frontline Solver. And if we can develop prescriptive analytics models, we will use Cplex. For data, I have some sets of data. They are not very complete. We are trying to get the complete versions of these data. The first set is about 160,000 records in which we have all the lower division courses and all the core courses that our students have taken. And we are going to use this data set to see what is the optimal sequence of courses. We are trying to do some test of hypothesis, some sequencing, and some tools which are available in data mining to find out which sequence is considered or what sets of sequences are considered to be better sequences. And of course, they also depends on capability of the students and depends on the department that the student is in it. But frankly, one thing which is absolute, with exception of Department of Economics, I believe all other departments should take Gateway before any other core course, and we need to translate Gateway into a new course which is seriously considered as landing point for lower division courses and takeoff point for core courses. There is one other set of data that we have and we are trying to get an improved version of it. What we have is 5 years data for all students in all semesters. That is about 250,000 pieces of data. We are trying to do two things with this. First, a very critical thing is, what is the optimal course load for a prototype student, and also after we define it for each ladder of student. We want to go through this data. We have the semester, we have GPA student before that semester, we have GPA student in that semester, we have the number of units he has taken or she has taken, and we have the number of F's and W's she or he has it, and then we want to analyze it and come up with a solution that we think, for example, 15 units is good, or we think 12 is good, or whatsoever. One other benefit of this data set and plans that we have is we want to use that sequencing and the unit load, the course load also, and found it out if we can move from facility-based class timetabling to student-centered class timetabling. As you know now, some spots of classes in some days are allocated to each department, and then we try to match our students and our courses with them. We want to go through this set of data. It's an extremely difficult project. If we can finish it, I think it will deserve an A+ journal where we can timetable our classes in order to facilitate what the students want. Also, in the past fall, I was teaching 2 large classes with a capacity of about 330 students, and I designed a questionnaire, and I asked them some questions, and the questions were not graded individually. I said, if a majority of you answer reasonably to these questions, I drop 1 quiz, and because for everybody, not individually. And then I said, look, your answers you have provided does not make very much sense. If you answer, then if next time you try to answer correctly, I drop 1 other quizzes, and I drop 2 quizzes, and over the semester we do have about 20 online quizzes for about 20%. So I think I have taken a lot of your time. I would like to really appreciate your presence. I am really flattered and